any kind of analytics, you will need data in the first place. The second part is the IoT infrastructure layer that we have developed, and that is our IP. Anybody who has done IoT or who has done IoT research, they will know that they will need a infrastructure layer. So if you are creating one device is perfectly fine, you can simply go, you can create a server, and you can in fact store the data coming from the sensor in the normal DB, right? It can be MySQL, it can be MongoDB or any other kind of DB. But when once you start increasing the number of sensors, the frequency of this data coming start increasing, the velocity also increase. So in that case, you need to have a IoT management layer that actually use the TSDB, that is time series database, instead of using a single normal kind of DB. And the option to do that can be that you can go and you can go on Google and you can say, okay, I'm going to use Google IoT infrastructure, which manage my data. I don't need to manage my data. I simply will use the APIs to pull data from the Google Cloud and you analyze them and then put some result. Or it can be Microsoft Azure, which has an IoT infrastructure layer, or it can be Amazon IoT infrastructure layer. But this is what we have developed in-house. So this whole IoT management layer is our IP that we have developed from scratch, which help us in device management, which help us in our time series database management, which help us in user management. It also has normal DB. It can be deployed in premise. So if you want to run a research project inside your campus and you want that, okay, this software stack needs to be deployed in my data center, that is possible. And then we have different processing pipelines. So based upon the kind of data that is coming in, we transfer it to different processing pipelines. The third part is the crop expertise, where we actually do the analytics, where the competition is done. So here, what we calling as gigabits. Those who are from Karnataka will understand Gida is a Kannada word that means plant, and bits as information. So that is the kind of branding that we have done, gigabits. So it provides all the data processing, it provides computation, it exposes REST API, it has report engine, it has rule engine, it has alert engine. So yeah, this is more like where we encode the crop expertise into the system. The last part is how you display this data. So okay, all computation is done, and you have lot of data. But how you are going to display this data? So that is being done using database dashboard. We have web dashboard where you have a huge amount of data that probably farmer will not use, that will be used by either researchers or the agriculture researcher or agriculture companies. Then we have Android application where we only present the actionable part for the growers. So growers always interact with the Android application, because exposing a lot of data for the growers might not make sense until unless they want to utilize it for their research. And again, it's not it's, I mean, actually in India, if you're going to the marginal farmer or medium scale farmer, they are only bothered about, or they're only worried about, okay, what I should do. I'm not worried about how temperature is moving or how much number of images you are capturing. Just tell me what I need to do today so that I can plan my day. Whereas if you go to countries outside India, countries in Europe or in not in Africa, definitely in Europe and US, their farmers actually use this data. So yesterday I was reading a post in LinkedIn, which was done by the CEO of Semi iOS. Semi iOS is a big company who has raised almost like 110 million fund. So they were the CEO was telling, the CEO was sharing his experience that earlier they started with these pheromones dispensers, but eventually when they were working with the grower tell that, okay, can you give me the canopy temperature and differ from different location. The company was not doing this canopy temperature measurement, but because the grower asked, they start deploying this sensor in all over the orchard. And they said we were not doing anything. We were simply giving this data to the growers, and in fact, growers were calculating the chill temperature or the frost prediction. And based upon their feedback, we backroll those computation which were done by the growers into our system. I mean, that might not happen in India. At least till now, it has not happened. There are certain scenarios where farmers has told us that can you do this kind of processing? Can you give me the delta T, that is time to spray, because I am using? Can you give me in real time that from which direction to which direction the wind is flowing, because I can have my spray done according to the wind direction. So there has been certain instances, but yeah, means I think Indian farmers are eventually catching up with technology changes. This is the technology, how Yuktix technologies, Yuktix work, what is the backend, what technology help us. This is just one example that we have done for a leading telecom company covering more like 10 district. So this was more like the architecture. This is more like what actually we are doing. So on the on the IoT devices, we have all the devices which come with solar power, which come with the design is quite modern. You can have different kind of sensors and different kind of 4G or 2G. The communication option can be wireless local sensing, as in where we deploy this wireless sensor node which communicate to the gateway on sub gigahertz. And in terms of hardware devices, we have Yuktix Gigabits weather station, Yuktix Gigabits sensor node, a smaller version of weather station that only goes with couple of sensor. We have Yuktix Gigabits crop view camera. We have Yuktix Gigabits insect trap camera. On the IoT management, we do device provisioning, account, user and farm provisioning, monitoring and diagnosis connected to devices. We have alert report engine, bulk status of devices, local networking. On the software side, and we do analytics, we do personalization. We do personalization of farm using our app store. We create farm, we assign farms, we assign sensors to farm using our IoT management layer. We configure farms with different kind of application. We have developed different forecasting models for the row crops. We have report, we have image analysis, we have weather forecast. So this is again, this is more like what we do when we work with the farmer. I have talked about the first two parts. The last part is okay. What is the actionable output for the grower? So we help grower in three specific sectors. The first sector is disease and forecast. Disease and forecast, which help them to spray only when required or to optimize the of spray they are doing. The second part is irrigation management or water management, where we tell them how much to irrigate, when to irrigate. And the third part is the access to agriculture experts, which help them to increase the production. In that, we provide them the package of practices or access to a agriculture expert of their crop. So this slide talk more about what are the different type of users in our Yuktix platform. So the first type of user in our Yuktix platform is the farmer who get all this information delivered to him using the Android application. The information consists of soil management, nutrition management, disease and insect forecasting, weather forecast, spray timing, general advisory, irrigation management, then access to agronomist. So all this information is being given to the farmer. So farmer is one type of user that our platform have. The second kind of user that our platform has is an agronomist. So agronomist will get access to multiple farm on a single dashboard. They can interact with farmer using video, audio, or textual. It's more like a time-saving device for them. Instead of them going to every farmer field, now what they are having access to is that they can be in their office or they can be in their home. They still have access to most of the information and they can provide a advisory to the farmer backed by data. Yeah, it will not replace them actually going to the field. This is where more like we'll talk more on the AI part. Okay, that how we are trying to help agronomists increase their efficiency. So we were talking to somebody in Africa. This was a big company. So in fact, their agronomist was in the field, and when we walk him through all the presentation, he said, okay, this is going to enhance my efficiency. I might not be required to go everywhere, record everything in a piece of paper and then do the analytics. Rather than that, what I can do is I can be in my office. If I have access to all this data, I can provide the advisory, a better advisory. And means we are not trying to say that uh, the agronomist will not be required to go at all in the field. That cannot be replaced at any point of time. Means it's more like very futuristic. Once you have automatic flying drones, once you have automatic weed detectors and weed replacer, once you have automatic fruit picking devices. But that time is still almost like a decade. We are almost like 5 to 10 years away from that time. But this is more like helping agronomists to increase his efficiency. Then we have crop experts. I will put that side by side with agronomists. The third part that I have not included in this presentation is the management. What kind of information does the management of that agriculture company get? So the management will get, okay, what is happening in which specific location? Is the irrigation done properly or not? Are there any disease forecast which is going to impact the outcome from that field? So the management will get again access to the singular dashboard where they can see what is happening in different locations. So these are the more like the users in our Yuktix database ecosystem. Sir, any question or can I go ahead?
Yeah, some questions are in the chat window. Can you check it?
Just a moment, sir. I am not able to see the chat window. Yeah. Okay. Uh, do you face time lag between? Yes. So this is an interesting question from Sayed. What I will do is I will keep on answering the question, then I will go ahead. So this is a question. Time lag. Yes. So means, let me put it in this way. Right now how we are doing is we are sending data, we are measuring data in real time. In fact, after every 10 seconds we are taking the cumulative moving average, and then after every 10 minutes we are pushing this data to the cloud. So there's nothing like time lag. Again, every kind of physical changes don't happen in a jiffy. They take some time. Even though if it is going to have frost, it will take some time to develop the condition for the frost, right? So 5-10 minute lag is perfect. At least for us, it has been perfectly fine. And in fact, in cases where we are providing the irrigation advisory, where we are telling the farmers even to how much time they have to irrigate and when they should start the fertigation based upon the leaching time. So there has been not a single plant that has damaged by crop within 10 minutes. So face time lag between data gets collected from IoT devices to Yuktix cloud, get processed and given to the handled devices of the farmer in real time. What step it is take to reduce the time lag? Again, same. We do more fast sensing. Just like internal sensing is almost like every 10 seconds, we take the cumulative moving average and we push it to the cloud after every 10 minutes. You can in fact do it after every 5 minutes. But we have in fact done that thing after every 3 minutes also. But eventually we shut it down on 10 minutes. That this is decent enough. And the device is configurable. You can do it every 3 minutes, you can do it every 5 minutes, you can do it every 10 minutes, or you can do it after every 1 hour. It is totally configurable. One question, one problem that we have faced when we are working in the field is the network availability. In fact, today I got a phone from farmer that this device is not working. Can you get it replaced? So there are certain hot spot, or you can say black spots, where there is no network. Or network is very fluctuating, right? Network comes and go, and other scenarios has been. So it's quite interesting that what we say to farmer is that you go and you please reset it, right? But that is not possible. So what we have done is we have provided a SD card in the system. Whenever we are not able to push this data to cloud, we store it on SD card, and whenever network comes back, we again push it back to the server. So Sayedji, I hope I was able to answer your question, or I was close enough to answer the question. Yeah, okay. Thank you. No, the agronomists and crop expert don't come from government entities. We onboard them based upon farmer requirement. For example, right now we have three experts. One is a pomegranate expert, the other one is a grape expert, and then there is a soil nutrition management expert. They are mostly working for other companies like Ikrisat or some crop companies, and now they are retired. So they have their experience, and we are trying to utilize their experience. Essential item like onion, tomato, how to improve the yield level. You can share your experience from technology angle. Okay, so okay, again, I will answer this question. We are not saying that we will do magic with a crop. We'll increase your production by 100%. No, we are not saying that. We are saying that the production can be increased if you follow best package of practices, if you follow by advisory by 25 to 30%. And still here, people can question that how you can quantify that the increase in production is being done only after following your advisory or only after working with Yuktix. So there is no straightforward answer for that. But this in fact has been proven by us, or this in fact has been proven by the agriculture research institutes, that if you follow best package of practice, in fact if there has been instances where we know that farmer has done just a soil testing. Earlier they were simply going and spray and picking. So once the farmer has done testing, they know about the micro and micronutrients. Once they have added respective respective components, they have the production is increased, right? Similar kind of instance can be that when you are irrigating too much. I will give you one more example. There has been instances in Maharashtra where we are working with farmer where berry cracking has happened in grapefruit. And why berry cracking happened? Because they were not irrigating their plot properly. So if you're not going to irrigate the crop properly, the berry cracking will happen. And in fact, that has happened with the capsicum crop also. What we are saying is that yes, it can be helped. We have not worked with onion. We have worked with tomato, capsicum. Right now we are working with the mustard farmers in Rajasthan. That is through an NGO which is working over there. We are working more like a technology partners with them. So no, we don't integrate suggestion alerts come from the time to moment from government in Yuktix dashboard. We simply we have our own analysis, and based upon that we provide the advisory to the farmers, and that thing we are doing using our application itself. And this is where we have done different, that we don't want to make it like a one-way flow of information. We want the farmer to interact. If there's some question they can ask, and that is being resolved using a 3-tier level kind of system. So now I will go ahead, and if you have any question, please put in the chat box. I have the access, and I will try to answer as many as of them. So this is one example of our deployment, and this is a photo from Rajasthan. You can see 3 different kind of devices over here. And in fact, one device is missing in that. That is a gigabit sensor node. And the first device you can see is an insect trap camera, where we capture the insect using the pheromone source, and you count the number of insects, and then you find out if the population of insect is increasing or decreasing. And I have a slide on that how it actually work and what kind of problem we have faced and how we are trying to solve those problems. The second part is the middle device is the crop view camera. So the crop view camera actually take the photo of the field starting from the day the saplings have were moved from the nursery to the field, or the once the farmer has shown the seeds. The third is the gigabits automatic weather station with all the sensors, and we this is our USP, that we don't use the normal sensor. Whatever sensors we are using are research grade sensors. They are in fact costly, but research grade and the best sensor which are available in the market. So you can see on the top side, there's a wind speed sensor anemometer, then there's a wind direction sensor, there's a solar radiation sensor, then rainfall sensor. The white color thing that you see is a solar radiation shield. Inside that, we keep the temperature, humidity, and pressure sensor. Downside, you can see there is some leaf wetter sensor sticking to the more like a wooden piece. That is a leaf wetness sensor, and our leaf wetness sensor is the best in the industry. It's not like the normal resistive kind of plate where once the water fall, you figure out, okay, is the resistance increasing or decreasing. It actually uses the direct conductivity of water. And then there's sensor that goes inside the soil that actually calculate the soil volumetric water content, and that is very much different from tensiometer. We don't use tensiometer because tensiometer takes some time to come in equilibrium with the soil tension, and that time can be anywhere from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Our sensor is very accurate. As soon as you irrigate, it will reflect the change in the soil moisture. So these are the some devices, only 3 devices that we have. Fourth one is not here. It's a small sensor node that come with only a couple of sensors: temperature, humidity, lux, or temperature, humidity, soil moisture, or temperature, humidity, leaf wetness sensor. Because there has been instances where not all sensors are required, and in fact I have an example for that also. Some places where we have been recognized. So Yuktix were the top innovator of agri-bag innovation contest in 2020. We were the recipient of Europe, Poland prize under the European Union. We were the we right now we were in the first cohort of Karnataka SAP C camp. We were also the recipient of Karnataka IDO POC. We were the recipient of Government of India Indo-Israel Innovation Challenge, where we have done some work for the post-harvest. Then some more information. Okay, one more question: which type of is better for soil as dusting may take place? What we are using right now, soil volumetric water content, that at an Institute of Horticulture Science, Hasargata, is working there from last 5 years. So you can get a sense that the what sensor we are using even work for 5 years. That is the maximum time we have deployed. There has been instances, for example, the work which we are doing for biocrop science in Buldhana. There the sensor working from last 1.5 year, and they are working perfectly fine. Yes, Sayedji, we have something called rental model, OPEX. We have something called OPEX model that is more like a rental model where farmer don't buy the sensor because the sensor are costly. Whereas we deploy the sensor and we charge them on the monthly basis. There are certain other scenarios or possibilities where you can provide the advisory to a group of farmer instead of, but the only catch over there is that in that instance where you are going to provide the advisory to a group of farmer, you'll be providing advisory at the village level, not at the farm level. And then we have certain other options also where farmer can opt in for the hardware if they feel like that adding hardware to their field will definitely work, because as I mentioned that Indian farmer is still catching up changes with the technology. Yeah, so Yuktix gigabytes, as I mentioned, that there are two components: IoT device and the software part. So this is the IoT device. One example of our deployment in a grape vineyard. We can ask why grape. Grape farmer are they are rich farmer. You can say rich. You can add rich to the farmer. Most of the other farmer are not that rich. So grape farmers are quite rich. Then they are very receptive to technology change. This is a cash crop. Most of that is exported, and they get a decent amount of money for coming back to them, right? So that's why any company who is in IoT will start from grape. Any company you take example of there, and then they eventually go to the other cash crop. Similarly, we have done. In fact, earlier we were working mostly with the B2B companies, but eventually we figured out, or eventually we came to know that farmers will pay. So this is a low power device. And in fact, I can talk more on low power, but let's leave that. Low power as in how you can make it work for a long time without even solar, without even solar. So these are solar power devices with battery backup, because wherever they are being deployed, there's no access to power. They come with 4G sub gigahertz ISM band, 85 megahertz. They come with a local SD card and data storage with server synchronization. They can be configured over Bluetooth. When I say configured, you can change certain other variables. You can connect the log. So there's no need of going to the device with the laptop for taking log. You just plug the power, you start device, and you start receiving data onto the cloud the very next moment. This is Yuktix Gigabits app. As I mentioned, that all the feature of this application can be controlled by the backend. So you can have a different group of farmers to whom you want to enable different set of applications for them. So it's not required to enable all the application for all the farmers. So the control of the application is being done by the backend. You can control app features via Gigabits web dashboard. You can deliver POP package of practices, and you can figure out what kind of activities farmers are doing in the field. You allow growers to interact with the agri expert, and right now we are supporting vernacular languages, not all of them but few of them. For example, Kannada, Marathi, Hindi and English. So these four languages we are supporting right now. We definitely plan to add more languages. Ethics devices also detect damages happen to the crop in field. Intelligence we're trying to add, sir, means intelligence or AI as a word is very difficult for it. Sometimes it's even difficult for people who are working on that. In fact, I will talk on that. That what kind of intelligence you can get back to the system, right? Yeah, I understand your point. Uh, this is more like improving the forecasting. That has happened in two locations very specifically where we didn't show that there is a possibility of disease and this actually happened to them, and these farmers were very much angry, but we helped them to contain the spread of those diseases. So we have done some work. I'll not say we have done 100% work. That is still in process. It is Gigabits Cloud. I think I have discussed very much about this in the starting, that it helps us to manage our devices, data, users and account, exploit the APIs. It provide on-the-go transformation. All those people, all those researchers who are there who understand this, that on-the-go transformation is very much required. So you have data coming in from sensor. Can you go? Can you do a real-time transformation, and can you store this transformation as a two different set of values, which can be utilized by two different set of equations? So those things are possible. In fact, all on the go transformation, on the go calibration is possible. You can have data coming in from and you can calibrate it as per two specific equation. For example, when we are converting the voltage level collected by the sensor into the actual soil volumetric water content, the calibration can be as per the different kind of soil. So we have done we provide in-device deployment and cloud deployment, out-of-box analytics, and some more information. I will not go much in detail about this. More analytics that we do in the backend. This might be interesting for the researchers, that okay, what kind of visualization is possible, what kind of analytics is possible. Can you do daily change in the soil moisture value? Can you implement machine learning algorithm which can figure out when this is happening by interacting with with the farmers? We have different kind of compute engines in which you can in which you can add your own computation, and integration to other software providers is possible. Suppose you want to integrate it with Google Big Data. This can be again very much interesting. We have been trying to do this thing. We were not able to do this till now. Suppose you have five data with you and you want to figure out some instances or some kind of analytics from that 5 millions of data points. How we can do that? So we have linking it with Google data. We were not able to probably in some time will do, but integration to other software providers is possible, where you can push this data and get the output from that software provider and plug it back to your system. From here, we'll start talking about the AI. This is very interesting. I am a part of a group, a startup group, in which there are a lot of startups who are working in all kind of new technology. Yes, sir. We provide the maintenance, and this is where we are not spreading ourselves too thin all across India. We are focusing very specifically in different sectors and different geographies where we have people on the field. Though these devices are made to withstand all kind of weather changes, and they are made in a manner that minimum amount of field maintenance is required, but we still have these people. There's a question from Dr. Mr. Sayyed, which I have answered. So, sir, till now, any other question from anyone? Probably you can take a stop here. See anybody has any question, and then we can go ahead. This one question is from Sayed Ji again. What is the role data tunneling is playing in your platform? Data tunneling is required when you want to suppose you have one way from which it's more like you have a big pipeline, water pipeline, and you want to transfer that incoming water into two different sources. For example, you want to run a different kind of reports on the data which is incoming. You want to uh, distribute this data set into different data sets. So there's a different tunneling is required over there. So tunneling is done to transfer this data to different computation machines or different API machine, which then process this data and again provide it back to our system. Any other question from anyone, or should I go ahead?
Sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes,
this is Ramesh. Actually, powered by AI. Not only that, some of the things like when we run the artificial intelligence or machine learning, we actually get for example, a display or a graph, whatever. We may get better. Some of the cases we may get in the Excel also, but when we run with the machine learning, maybe we may get a better graph or better. Even we can see all the engineering colleges now have course called artificial intelligence. They are all introducing. So I think in one way it is a marketing gimmick. Yes, it is true. But
No, sir. I have a different opinion over here. I
okay,
think this is more like a philosophical. This might be more like a philosophical point from my side. Uh, there is always a balance, a delicate balance between marketing and actually doing the things, right? You all are from academia. You understand the amount of time you are spending in solving a single problem, whereas and this has came to us also when we right now we do any kind of interviews. People say, okay, I have done course in AI, and when you start digging deeper, AI is actually, in fact, I am also doing trying to learn, because that is very much important. AI or ML is mostly stats or linear algebra, right? And it is more like digging deeper into mathematical modeling or maths, right? Whereas what people are doing is more like covering the top. Okay, what is possible? In fact, what I am going to display over here, I have not done any kind of this thing. My team do on kind of analytics, image analysis, everything, right? So I am more like talking, okay, what are the application? But at the same time, I see this is very much important for the our incoming generation to know what is possible, what is not possible, because not everybody is going to do ML. IoT for that case, with the Arduino, with ARPI, it has entered every college. Everybody is doing IoT. Anybody who was interested in hardware, they have done IoT, right? But the similar kind of thing is not true for AI and ML, because again, AI and ML is hardcore math, right? Fitting a equation to fitting a linear equation is definitely possible. You can do that thing in Excel, but figuring out the instances, figuring out few things which you are not able to see from your eyes or from mathematical thing. If you have almost like 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 1 crore data points, in those cases it can make sense. So there's a delicate balance. This again, because we keep on talking, everybody is saying, okay, is AI driven, is AI driven. This was an interesting statement given by somebody who is managing this real-time data from all the companies, right? How the market is going up, market is going down, and it's not coming from somebody like me, right? We stand nowhere in front of these guys, because these are highly technical guys. They do work in and out every day. So coming from him, in fact, he said that apart from image analysis, Zerodha don't use AI anywhere in their system, right? We are still very much far away from mimicking the real human brain. Again, I will not enter into that because this is very complicated topic. But I just wanted to add this screenshot here, that this is what people think, right? Sir, any other
okay,
question?
sir, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
before
sir.
I go
Thank you.
ahead.
Yeah, okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So I will go ahead. From here it will start. It means I think it will be interesting as per topic. I have tried to cover as much technology, because what I feel is data collection is one important part of any kind of artificial intelligence system or machine learning system or even data analytics. If you want to go simple, for data analytics, you need to have data in the first place. And that's what we are doing. That's what our devices do. That's what our IoT devices do, that they collect this data from the field, right? So AI and ML in agriculture, what AI basically, AI allow machines to mimic human brain functions, or it is trying to mimic human brain function, right? But the point is, what kind of human brain functions will actually help farmers? What are the problem that can be addressed? You can think of very futuristic, as I told. In fact, almost like a 2 to 3 weeks back, I was talking to somebody who was from the institute in Hyderabad, and right now she is recruiting people in different sectors in agriculture. And she asked, okay, uh, what is possible, how futuristic we can be. So we can be as futuristic where you need only one guy to control the whole farm, where you have these automatic seed planters which will plug the field. You will have automatic seed planters who can go and who can put the seed in the respective location. You have all automatic weed editors which will find out where the weed is. They'll destroy the weed using laser cutting. Then you have automatic irrigation system which are already there. You have automatic fertigation system which are already there. There will be robots with computer vision or cameras installed on them, which will go around the orchard or farm, figure out if the crop is under stress or not, then remove any kind of weeds. they will irrigate, they will spray at very specific locations. So they are, if you go and look at the videos, there are instances where you have a very specific robot with more like a very precise spray to only the leaves which need some kind of detection. Then you have automatic fruit pickers which are already there. There are drones, there are robots which are automatically picking the robots. So it can be as futuristic as possible. But does the marginal farmer need that? Or I think the answer is no for now. They might need, but that will be too much drastic change. Indian marginal farmer, if you go to a simple farmer, right? If I go to my grandfather's grandfather, they will say, okay, I can put the thumb in my tongue and I can tell you, thumb in the tongue, take it out, and I can tell you when it's going to rain, right? So they have this kind of experience with them. So economy will definitely play a role. Penetration of technology will play a role. Before the geo era, means nobody has access to internet, right? You cannot say. I still remember I was paying something like 250 rupees for 1 GB of data, and you cannot see real time content on that, right? So penetration of technology like access to low cost internet access and economics will play a very important role in AI and ML in agriculture. Some example where it can actually help. So weather forecast. Earlier our elders can tell if it is going to rain in next 4 to 5 days just by looking at the sky. So that was more like experience, right? They have experience of 30, 40 years. The climate was not changing. It was as usual. Every year it was going to rain like this thing, right? They have certain their own way of gimmicking that when it's going to rain, when it's not going to rain. So experience matter. Can you help farmers with weather forecast? This is where AI and ML will play an important role. Disease forecast, changing weather patterns. Because of change in weather, a lot of diseases are happening to the crops. Similarly, with respect to insect forecast. So this is where AI and ML can actually play an important role. Can you forecast disease before they happen by monitoring how the weather is changing? And means we have in fact done a lot of these forecasts. Few are very famous. For example, powdery mildew or downy mildew. For grape, it's more like the research which Ipshita has done, which was taken from the UC Berkeley in US, right? So those kind of forecasting models are very important. Irrigation, if you can help farmer with the irrigation, when he has to irrigate, how much he has to irrigate, based upon the crop stage, based upon the current weather, based upon the weather forecast, based upon the soil type, the current soil moisture, if you can help them to irrigate, because irrigating the field with optimum amount of water is going to help the crop to grow properly. It's more like it is not you don't want to put the crop under stress, or don't want to over irrigate, because both of these things are going to impact the production of the crop. Manual scouting of the field. Right now a farmer goes in the field, they look around what is happening, is some section of the plot is under stress or not. So if you can provide a replacement for that, or if the farmer is not aware of some new thing, can you provide a manual automatic scouting or android based scouting, where I think the company Plantix is already working. They have done some good work. In fact, I heard about them, I know about them from long back, but right now in fact they are exposing their APIs for image analysis, right? So what is the mitigation? So again, farmer will have limited information. A farmer will not have all the information. For example, the new chemicals or the new organic or inorganic spray which are available in the market. So can you tell them automatically what spray they're going to use, or you can tell you? So you can think of making it more like interactive. That if you tell that there's a high possibility of this disease happening, right? You can tell what kind of chemical combination is required. You can in fact tell the brand name also, and you can ask them, can I place an order for this specific thing? Just like we see all the videos where this shitty is helping, can I place an order for something like that, right? and uh, and then again, lots of data for and sources even for agronomists. So agronomists will have a lot of lot of data. Can you help agronomists with some kind of analytics that is going to help the farmer in the last? So these are few instances where AI and ML can actually play a role, considering the fact that economics is there. We are targeting Indian farmers who are marginal farmers. They are not like very rich farmers. All of them are not very rich farmers. And what is the penetration of technology? How receptive are farmers towards this technology? So now I'm going to talk about few of the use cases. I might finish the presentation a bit early. So because I want to unnecessarily expand it. Seiji, so main thing is the three main things. First is the irrigation part. Second is the disease and insect forecast. Third is the access to agriculture expert advisory. These three are the more thing for which farmer can relate. And again, I'm not saying that we are going to every farm, a row crop farmer. Right now, we are targeting the cash crop farmer because they feel that giving the right amount of water is going to help. So these three are the only thing right now: irrigation, disease, and the crop expert advisory.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shailendra.
Yeah. So this is one example of application that actually we are doing. So we are working with this is where you need researchers working with you. You cannot do that, means because they have their own way of doing. Researchers are people. Means if anybody is from Bangalore, you will know that that the salary part in Bangalore is quite high. People ask for 5 lakh rupees. AI and ML engineers are getting something like 3 lakh, 4 lakh, 5 lakh rupees a month salary, and that is not possible for any startup which is not heavily funded. To have things such as chain, you need to and again, my opinion is that you need to work with academia because they are expert in research, right? They can help you in developing new things which are not being done till now. So this is where we are working actually. You can also ask, okay, why even do this? This is possible. This is available through government also. This is available through multiple companies also. We are developing this thing based upon our own data. This is where AI and ML will be implemented. That can you provide a short-term rain prediction using a 100 USD device? This was our motivation. This came as an input. This came as a problem statement from a big corporate and big cash crop corporate. So can you do this thing, because it play a very important role over there. In fact, if you can do the rain forecasting, it can help them. They will not spray if they know that it's going to rain in next 3 hours, right? Because if they spray and if it rain, every spray will go out. Yeah, definitely there are some spray which stick to the leaves. I forgot the name. I am not able to recall the name for those spray which in fact are not affected by the rainfall happening or not. So we have sensor data coming from IoT devices. Devices generate 200 point per day, 50 devices, 5 year, close to 18 million data points. So researchers is very useful, right? And there were definitely some point which required cleanup. So break into no rain and rain cases during different time periods, location dependent, location agnostic data. So we have location agnostic data also. We have location dependent data also. We cleaned up this data. We loaded into S3 SageMaker pipeline, and right now, in fact, we are still working on that. We are trying to improve, and then we'll go for testing purpose. We will deploy this system. We'll test it, and then we'll improve that. So this is one use case where we are actually working, and we are trying to have the short-term rain prediction over here. So this is one example which we are using right now, where we are working with researchers. We have a team coding encoding that algorithm is not a is never a problem. Building the algorithm is a problem. Building an algorithm which can go even up to 80-85% of accuracy is the problem, and that is what we're trying to solve over here. And encoding that into system will not be a problem because we are expert in that. We know what software is that we can do very easily. This is another example of what I was talking about. That is image analysis, Yuktix, etc., where you capture the photo, where you capture the insects, where you capture the photos of the insect. For example, identification of Helicoptera armigera, and counting the numbers, finding out if the population of insect is increasing or decreasing, and then publishing advice to the farmer that right, there's an attack of this specific insect. Please take the required mitigation. Similarly, identification of Spodopetra littera and counting the numbers. The biggest problem which we faced, we were trying to work out this thing in with soybean crop, Helicoptera armigera in Rajasthan. The biggest problem that we faced that there was no data set for the identification of these insects. We were dependent upon the images which are available on the Google images. So that was the biggest problem in front of us. So what we did is we did for one time. We still didn't have sufficient images with us. where they are actual insects, because probably we were a bit late. Just a moment. Sorry, I'm at my home, so my daughter was nearby me. So this is one example that was no asset. In fact, we were with soybean crop. We because we are manufacturing this device, we developed this device from scratch. We are not buying it or importing from somebody else. This is our own device which captures the photos. So we were a bit late as per the season and not able to collect all the devices. But this is what we are doing. So collection of all the images. Can you close the board yet? Collection of all the images and figuring out what kind of insect it is, counting the numbers, and then telling if the population of insect is increasing or decreasing. So this is another example of where we are using we're using image analysis. I will stick to image analysis. I will not go to machine learning. Machine learning is where we improve your identification with time and with more images. So this is one example where we are, which we are actually using right now, and you have seen the image of the device that we are deployed in the field. Uh, Going forward, this is another example. Uh, in this example, the first example, this insect. So again, we right now we have only like 4 to 5 identification, and we are trying to add more and more numbers for we'll have bigger numbers, bigger insect numbers with us that we can identify. Going forward, this is the images captured from the our crop view camera, and we capture the photo from the day of transportation of samplings. We figure out the growth pattern, if the growth pattern is as expected or not. We find out if the crop is under biotic and or abiotic stress. This is a research problem that we are trying to solve. If the plant is under biotic or abiotic stress, because that is people have published papers on that. We are trying to utilize those papers and we are trying to make it. We are trying to improve that. Will mark and so this is a video which I'll read for you. This is the and these are very small images. In fact, this was the more like 20 days images that we have captured. Right now it's more like 60 days or 65 days post we have done this thing. So I'll also show you right now what is the state of the crop. So I'll run this video, you will get to see. Just a moment. So anybody who look at this photo and at least for the agronomists, this can be a great asset that they can be in their office and they can see how the crop is growing. One limitation is that this is a fixed camera, and people can ask why not drone and why this, because it's a fixed camera. Nobody is required to operate this camera, and if you have a better FOV, that is called field of view, you can capture the whole farm, and if you can put it on a height, you can capture the whole farm clearly, right? So this is what we are doing with respect to the crop stress, how the crop growth is, and helping the agronomist as well as the farmer if the crop is under specific stress. And this was more like a wider angle. You can have a very focused lens that can focus on one very specific part of the plant, and using which you can figure out if that area is under any kind of disease impact or not. So multiple possibilities are there. We're a small team, so we are trying to limit ourselves what we can do best right now, and eventually when we'll grow, we'll have much more interesting thing done by this. So this is the last image that we have captured. But again, when I made this video, it was only limited images. Now, okay, this is the final stage of the same crop. So you can see that right now the crop is at this stage. You can see if the crop is under stress or not. So this is the present image captured from the camera. In fact, this was the image captured yesterday and in the evening. So yeah, this so if you see here back, and now the crop is at this stage. This is stage. So this give a very clear idea to any economist or to our team if the crop is under stress or not, what need to be done, what needs not to be done. So this is more like the image analysis part using the crop view camera, and then developing of disease forecasting, developing of new models. How we are developing new models, new weather forecast model, because we have captured the incidences of disease, new diseases which we are not doing. We have data from the field about temperature, humidity, and other micro weather. You can always do the correlation. That might not lead to the perfect models, but yes, there will be some model which you can keep on improving because you are getting the feedback from the farmer that you are including to improve these models. So we have almost like close to 40 models already in use. There are 25 models for the row crop, rest are for the cash crop, and we are continually developing. And we are not going for every crop. We are trying to limit ourselves as per our expertise to few crops. The system is crop agnostic. It is not dependent on only one crop. The system is totally crop agnostic. So variable of interest, same temperature, humidity, rainfall, in some cases, mostly fungal diseases, leaf wetness, and in some cases, soil moisture. For example, we have developed our in-house model for red spider mite or white stem borer or tea mosquito. And same. So you have camera, you have weather information that goes to cloud, you do the correlation, the researcher do the correlation, and then we provide the output to the growers after doing the testing. And there are few growers which are even acceptable to, yes, if you are doing some research, I will take that because everybody is looking for something new which can help them. So this is one example of disease forecasting that we are doing. Image analysis, same. This is more like a Plantix kind of thing that we're doing right now. Yeah, has done it for every crop. We're not trying to do for every crop. We're trying to limit ourselves to the few crops that we serve or for which we provide our services to the farmer. This is not yet released to the public. We have an application, but that application is limited to the farmers. That is not like a generic application that anybody can install and anybody can start using, because we are going very crop specific. We are going very farmer specific. In pipeline, there are multiple other things in pipeline also that we are doing. For example, the object counting part, number of fruits, number of different kind of fruits, because that came as an input to us. Development of new disease and insect forecasting models, and in the last, analysis of satellite data, the NDVI data and the EV data for the detection of hot spot and yield estimation for the growers. This is again a very interesting thing. Who are the other notable players who are working in the field, who are working in AI animal agrograde? You can simply go and you can search for agrograde. He's a friend of mine, Shitish Thakur. They have done a machine which helped with this the segregation of this onion based upon different size, quality, and other factor if the shooting has happened or not. Uh, and then so they are based in Nasik. They are targeting onion as a crop. Earlier they started with every crop, but eventually they came to know that they have to start developing their expertise in a specific crop, because this is not AML or image analysis, or for even that case data analytics is not just like anything that everybody can do. And specifically deploying the devices or deploying the product in the field is very much different from what is being done in the lab, because multiple other scenarios are not being considered. Means there's a big difference from the prioritization of a research. So this is where I think more and more collaboration between industries and academia is required. Tata Science, again a very well-known company, they have raised almost like 7 million USD based upon technology. Shorting, SORT, yes, definitely. My bad, SORTING, not shorting. So Tata Science is a company which is again developing this robots which can do the weed detection and removal of those weeds using the spray or basically the IR rays. They are again based in Bangalore. Fruit picking robots, multiple fruit picking robots are there, which are in fact recently we have seen, we everybody of us would have seen the videos where the fruit picking drones or robots are there, which take the fruits based upon how ripe they are. And then satellite imagery, crop type identification, agro monitoring. You can look at that. Agro monitoring is an online tool which helps with the NDVI imaging, and right now they are adding a feature where they are also doing the crop identification from the satellite images. This is more like I got this slide from my colleague Rajiv. He has given a workshop to the researchers in some bioinnovation lab. So this is more like a startup mantra that can actually work. Means researchers will go for any kind of problem which they find is interesting. But again, that interesting problem has to be, if you are trying to convert that research into a startup, you need to see, are people willing to even pay for that or not. So identify good problems, prepare a sales plan. Again, we being I'm an engineer by profession. When we started, we see, okay, this is an interesting problem. Let's solve this. Eventually, after some time, you will get to know solving a problem is one thing. Getting paid to solve that problem by the people and building up a startup on that is very much different, right? They both are very much different. People can do if you leave it to me, I will simply probably go in the farmer's field and I'll start working on the WSN part, that is wireless sensor networking. That is close to my heart. That is where I have worked with my mentor. So but again, that is not going to pay me. We have to build a plan, okay, how we can scale that part. So talk to domain expert, for example, researchers who are there. I have seen the profile of the people who are in this workshop, that they are computer vision expert. uh, Most of them are professors. So talk to the domain expert who has expertise in your specific area. Again, you need to get this data. For example, I mentioned that for this Helicobacter armigera, we didn't have any disease images for that specific insect. So that is was the limiting factor for us. We were not able to utilize. We were not able to build up a proper model, image analysis model for that specific insect. Engage an R&D consultant. For example, for us, we would like to engage somebody who is expert in insect, who know how insect breed, who know the pheromones and all those things. Get primary result, again show it to a domain expert. Either we stick with that or we simply diss that if it's working or not working. Get more data, tweak models, show to again domain expert, achieve good accuracy, and then set up the processing part, because till now we have been only developing the algorithm. Right now, algorithm is an important part but a small part of the system, because you need to give it in the hand of farmer, and farmer will not even know that what does algorithm even mean, right? So shut up processing, hire good engineers. Definitely engineers play important role. Put R&D contestant on new task, move processing in house. So this is what is going to uh, what is going to help your startup earn the money. uh, our team, Rajiv is from IT Kanpur. He has done his PGSM from IIM Bangalore. His expertise, 19 plus year of experience in software domain. He has worked earlier in Oracle, Citrix, AOL, couple of other startup. I'm Shailendra, I'm co-founder. I have my basic experience is in the field of embedded hardware and embedded software. I have worked earlier for Thinvent and Civil and Design INC, which was a chip making company. Right now, we have a team of 19 people. 14 of them are full-time employees. 5 of them are the experts, means agriculture expert. We have advisors with us from different field. We have crop expert with us. We have done a MOU with Agriculture Research Institute also. Our 3 advisors are Dr. P.N.S. Murthy right now. He is the director of IHR Bangalore. Dr. M.J. Vasudev Rao, he has earlier worked in seed companies and Equiset also. Ganesh Shishagar, he was the ex-CEO, ex-operation head of Bayer India and Bayer China. Some couple of case studies that we have done for an international sheet company. Should I talk further on this, or means any question from the people who are in this workshop? Sir?
Sir, you just proceed, sir. I think they will post a question from chat box. Is there in the chat?
Yeah, fine. Okay. So this was one example that we have done for an international seed company, and this might not add the this might not have the information on the AI part. We are in fact working on that in terms of the irrigation, that how we can forecast the irrigation requirement for the specific farmer. So earlier, what they were doing is that they were working with farmers in seed application. There was no way to dispense the POP. It was all manual, it was piece of paper. There was no wait for them to track what farmer is doing in the field. Are they doing proper irrigation or not? Are they doing proper fertigation or not? Are they spraying properly or not? Are they even looking at the crop or not? There was no way for the company to know if or to even get alerts for less soil moisture, no fertigation, EC values which are less than a specific number. And there was no interaction with the farmer apart from WhatsApp level, that individual farmer talked to the company expert over the WhatsApp. So it was not a structured. What we did with them, how we helped them is that we deployed this database software at their data center, because that was their requirement, that I don't want this data to go outside. We deployed this software stack for them in their DC. We let them publish their own POP, package of practice. And in fact, they were able to edit the POP as per they were going ahead. They were able to track the activities that user is doing. So POP has option, is it done, this activity is done or not. So they were able to do track even that how much activities the farmer has done, and they were able to track the progress of farmer. And these were the farmer with whom they were working. There were 10 farmer with whom they were working for seed application inside the greenhouse, and few of them were open. Then we deployed this crop view camera to capture if the crops are growing at a pace in which they are expected to grow, considering the fact that all the best package of practices are being implemented. We deployed certain sensors, for example, soil EC, soil VWC, and soil temperature, uh, air temperature, humidity, and lux sensor, which they were utilizing for their own research. And we were doing the irrigation planning for them, that when they should irrigate, because soil volumetric water content sensor is very much different from soil tensiometer. It actually tell that how much amount of water is present in the soil, and based upon that we can forecast when the next irrigation cycle you will need to come. And we did couple of disease forecast for them, and the crop was tomato and capsicum. So the disease forecast were limited to that scouting wherever the suppose, because again these are fixed camera, the copy camera, this copy camera is a fixed camera. So wherever the farmer feel like that they need some information from the expert in the from the company, they were able to capture that image using our scouting app feature, and they were able to upload the image to the Yuktix cloud, and the agronomist from the company was able to assess that image, provide his feedback, because they wanted to have manual interaction instead of having AI or image analysis do the analysis. So this was one case study that we did with the interstate company. This is more like a local networking, and this image is not just any image. In fact, I was there in this field. This is in Simligoda. This was just a tomato field. This was in the middle of a lake, and they were doing potato over there. So you can see the small dots. These are the small soil sensors that we deployed in the field, which were capturing the soil moisture, soil EC, and soil temperature, and they were all communicating back to the gateway. And gateway was communicating back to the cloud. So instead of deploying 100 devices with SIM in all of them, we deployed only one gateway with SIM. All 100 devices were communicating over the ISM back to the gateway, and the gateway was communicating back to the Yuktix cloud. So this is one example of our local networking deployment. Some examples of you can some example of a deployment in different location. You can see the image on the right hand side. This is actually the image where we were working with the a seed company. This the crop is the capsicum. Yeah, this is the capsicum crop. And few on the left hand side, the deployment for the grape, and the again few open deployment inside the greenhouse deployment. Some more example, that's again for the capsicum. The second one is for the pomegranate, and third one is for tomato for the open field. Sir, that's it from my side. I'm open to question. I think I will not go more on the presentation. It's all probably can conclude this my presentation. Sen, there's one question about the employment opportunities in agriculture sector, whether it's going to increase or decrease. Your comment, it is definitely going to increase. In fact, the way we are going to expand our team is that we are going to hire the field executive from the specific geographies who know the geography. So we are trying to will be increasing the opportunities in, at least we as an organization will be increasing the opportunities, uh, employment opportunities over here. Technology is definitely going to, again, this is more like a philosophical question. With technology, the intervention of human will definitely decrease, but it's not going to remove the people who are working in field, because again, agriculture is very uh, human oriented thing. You cannot remove the agronomists from the equation. In fact, we have a fundamental thing with us, that we want to keep the agronomist in the loop, and along with the image analysis, we always want to keep the agronomist in the loop, because nobody can replace his experience or his expertise. Sir, I am done. I didn't have any more slides to go ahead. Probably we can go with the question, or probably
Yeah, we can have some discussion, sir. You have any? Some more questions are there. Check it, sir.
Sir, I have answered all the question. Yeah, I have checked. Miss, I think there are no more question here which I have not answered. If I have missed answering any question, please put it over here. I'll try to answer.
Okay.
Are you working on knowledge management in agriculture? Yes, we are trying to work on knowledge management in agriculture. I'm not sure if I understood correctly. POP is definitely one. POP is definitely one knowledge management kind of thing, that where you are trying to capture all the best practices and put it in front of people. Apart from that, we keep on doing these webinars, online webinars for crop specific, where we are trying, where anybody can join. You can look at YouTube, Yuktix technologies, and you can look at the webinars that we have done. We keep on organizing webinars on monthly basis, on specifically on crops. And these are general webinars. These are not like technology oriented webinars. This is more like open to anyone. If you want to learn something, if you have some question, expert come over there, you can ask question to them. Can it found rotten tomatoes? Sir, can rotten onions are found? For onions, I have to check with this guy. For only have to check with this guy Shitish in the aggregate, but I think they should be able to do that. What your work on capsicum, sir? Capsicum, we are working with the people who are. The image which you can still see over here. That was with the agri seed company. The work which we are doing is in Kolar area, Dubbalapur area, Bangalore area, where we are working with farmer, helping them with the irrigation. I told you about one specific example where cracking happened in the capsicum, and that was because this specific farmer was using sandy soil. He was not irrigating because he can see on the top that there is a water, but near the root area there was no water, so he was not irrigating properly, and that's why cracking was happening. And I have in fact photos for that specific instance when the cracking happened in the capsicum, and when we start telling them that they should irrigate more, then it helped them. So, and in fact we have a couple of models for thrips and for mites. Any survey conducted to know the awareness level of farmer with regard to technology implementation? So actually, Komalji, we are very specifically working in clusters where people are already aware of this technology and they're receptive. So we have not done India level or state level kind of survey. Yeah.
What will be the cost, sir? For example, if you want to implement this for 1 acre of grape, what will be the cost structure from the company?
The cost kind of thing, I'm not the right guy to answer, but okay. Cost depend upon the crop type and cost depend upon the number of sensor required for that specific field. Okay. If anybody has any question regarding cost, you can share my email ID. They can reach out to me. I will forward that to my sales team and they will get the costing.
Okay.
Is there any quality assessment system in food industry for sorting using AI? I asked this question, in fact, to my colleague, to my friend Shitish, that why you are not going for the fruit crop. In sorting, first of all, these are perishable. In fact, if you do the sorting for the tomato, it might damage the tomato. I'm not sure about that. I'm not the expert in that. But why people are going for onion? Because that is a sturdy crop. It will not get damaged when they're doing the sorting kind of thing, right? So that's why people might not be implementing this fruit industry for sorting using AI. That might be one. That might be one thing. You will not call AI to the spectrometer kind of testing, which tell if the apple or specific fruit is rotten or not. QSense Lab, there are multiple other companies who are using some small devices to for the quality assessment. You will not call that thing as a AI. Sorting, I think nobody's. I'm not sure. With my limited knowledge, I don't know anybody who is doing sorting using AI in fruits specifically. You can get my email ID from the team. I'm not sure if I'm even supposed to share my email ID here or not. Sir, can you share my email ID with this with anybody who's asking for that? Or can
Yeah,
you
yeah,
share-
I'll do it, sir. I'll do it.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. We'll share it.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there any quality assessment system tools for sorting using AI? And mangoes are artificially ripened. That can be prevented if you have system to do that. So, Shailendra, are you there?
Sorry.
Shailendra, sir.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I got this question. Second question, I got that.
Yes,
But
yes.
mangoes are artificially ripened. That can be prevented if we have system to do that. So I am from that region in UP. I am from Kanpur region, and a lot of mangoes happen in my nearby region. You'll not take the ripened mango from the tree, because most of the mangoes are exported and they need to be less ripened because they have to be exported from one location to other location. Right? So they I think they do this thing knowingly. They don't want to do this kind of things where they want to find out if the specific mango is ripened or not, because they have to be exported. If the mango is ripened, they cannot export it because again they are soft, so they might get damaged. Again, pardon me, means if the answer is not perfect, but this is at least my understanding. Just a moment, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if you have some more question, you can put it. There's one question.
Yeah, are you working to identify the originality of a fruit or vegetable? No, we are not. We're not
The voice
doing
is not
that.
clear, sir.
Why is it breaking? Can you repeat one more time, sir?
One question posted at chat box.
Sir, this question is there. Are you working to identify the originality? If I, yeah, there's a question. Yeah, are you working for originality? Originality. I'm not sure about this specific word. We are not doing that.
Yeah, maybe traceability, sir. Maybe originality, traceability, blockchain related. Maybe.
Yeah, so blockchain basically that again that Om would have answered. Means
Okay,
he is the expert, right, from source
Okay.
trace.
Okay.
So we're not doing one working on the tracing from where tracing the origin of the specific fruit. In fact, we like to have that once we start working with and I will not like to do that thing at my level. I will
Okay.
probably partner with some already existing company for doing that.
Sir, there is another source person from Parcel. They are also doing similar kind of product. What is the main difference, sir? Your company and the
What do you think?
Yeah, the biggest difference is the kind of sensor somebody is using.
Okay.
We always use the access quality sensor.
Okay. Okay.
And second thing is we are technology first company. So we
Okay.
started with technology. Means we again some people who are here, they will understand if they trace the history of any company. So it will be bad for me to answer what is a competition. Let's not talk about competition over here, and then people will understand that what they are dealing in and what we are dealing in.
Thank you, sir.
So if there are no questions, probably we can conclude the session.
Yeah. If there is no question, any other question, you just put it, or we'll wind up this today's session, morning session.
Yeah. And in case if anybody has questions, I will share my email ID. You can always
Yes,
me
I'll share it, sir.
and I can reply. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. I'll take your permission then.
No, 2 minutes. A lot of thanks will tell. Then
Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you on behalf of 50P program. Nicely presented. Yuktix, right? That how technology is.
Yuktix.
Yes, how technology you just explained that awesome, sir. I hope all the participants also they clarified the doubts. Really, we from Indian Institute of Plantation Management are looking forward for collaborative research work or collaborative work, sir, and we'll happily invite you for more presentations, more training programs with you, sir. Overall, on behalf of FTP Pro team, thank you very much, sir, for your presence and your session was wonderful. Hope all participants also enjoyed. Maybe if you look at the chat box, many people clarified their doubts. Thank you very much, sir. Looking forward for the.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Have a good day to all of you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
okay. Dear participant, afternoon session will be handled by Professor Nachiappan. So a lot of questions related to what are the research area we can do, blockchain and AI. So you'll be handling a separate session on that area. So 2 to 3:30 will be handling the session, and after that we'll have a examination. Maybe how much time, sir?
It around 45 minutes something.
45 minutes. Okay.
25 MCQs.
3:30 to 4.
4:15 will give, sir.
4:15, and then 15 minutes we'll have validatory functions. So with this, today morning session will stop here, and we'll continue at 2 o'clock. Okay, 2 to 3:30 will be session, and 3:30 to 4:15 will be exam. Then 4:15 to 4:30 we'll have small validatory and vote of thanks process will complete. Okay. So any other clarification, let us know, and try to go through the record video. Okay, we are not asking question related today or yesterday's afternoon or video. Whatever possible video you go through, based on the video recording only, the question will come. Okay. So any clarification, anything?
Requesting any clarification from participants?
Is it clear?
I think.
Okay, if there is no question or clarification, we'll stop here. We'll meet today afternoon 2 o'clock.
Yes, already that feedback posted at chat box, sir. People
please check it. Yeah, one more time you share it, sir. Sometimes I'll share it. One more time I'm sharing the feedback for this session. Please check your chat window and fill it.
Videos link also will share by you.
Yeah, all the 4 days session we shared, sir, in the Google WhatsApp group. Today's session will be pending. All the recorded videos shared. Please check the Google class WhatsApp group. All the videos are there. Anyway, one more time we will share it in the entire video. Maybe today evening we'll share it one more time. All the video. We'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. If there is no problem, we'll stop here.
We'll stop. So exam link will get afternoon after 3:30.
3:30 will share it.
3:30.
So during the examination, you try to switch on your camera and write it.
Videos.
Okay, we'll record everything and we'll share it. AIC team set.
We'll wind up, sir.
I think no more question, I think.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, sir. We'll
Okay.
stop it.
Thank you, sir. We'll meet afternoon.